Hello, my dears. Thank you so much for being here. We're petit comité today, which is great. Okay, we're about to start. Sure. Here. Hi, guys. Hi, Vidi. Vidi and Gabi. Vidi.
Hello.
Okay, so let's start this amazing, incredible training that awaits us. Wow, this is really juicy, cool stuff. I had a great time putting it together. I really did. Okay, okay. How you guys doing?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, Sasha.
Very good. Mhm.
Okay, okay. I'm excited. Okay, so this is training four. This is training four, the penultimate training. We're gathering this Saturday then to activate everything. And so this is what we've been up to this level 2 month. This month we've been here for almost a month, and so we started with the first principles of the universe, right? What applies to everything in the universe? What a cool question to ask oneself. Then we went into inspirited leadership, and we looked at leadership. What's leadership from a deeper perspective, and what's a balanced leader? And then we did the soul compass last week, or about 10 days ago. Yeah, where we put everything together that we've been looking at and within the last two containers. And today is integral mastery. I called it integral mastery. I worked with AI quite a bit to find a good name for this, and that reflects what we're going to be doing today. And integral mastery is the topic. And then on Saturday we'll do something that I felt called to call activation of dormant potential. So a meditative experience where we will look at everything, the most important tools and knowledge and information we've been looking at and activated within ourselves through a meditative experience and graduation. So let's jump into the last episode, just like in Netflix. The Soul's Compass was the last episode, right? And so in a nutshell, we looked at two different components of what would be amazing to know about ourselves and why we're here and how that applies to 3D, to the world of professional development, etc. And so, in terms of the mystical ones, we said that it's very powerful to identify supporting places of power, plans of power, spirit guides, lineages, origins, objects of power, colors, sacred geometry, symbols, and mantras, so that they accompany us and support us, and we can, in one look, we can really connect with our support team. And then in terms of the earthly ones, we looked at the quality of life, at the professional development map once again. We looked at, and then we put together the information that we currently have available, which obviously keeps evolving in terms of people that see me or value me, our inner circle. Then we looked at the professional tribes that we most connect with for networking and for clients, finding clients there. We looked at Zone of Genius, our missions, interests, projects, most aligned roles, and the unique selling proposition of ourselves as a startup. I received in one of my journeys lately that you are the startup. I was told you are the startup. You are the startup, and that applies to us all. And then we did an activation. So today, welcome to training four, integral mastery, as I said. So let's dive right in. Oh, such juicy stuff! I'm so happy you guys came to the feast. I have the same slides for some reason. Okay, 2 times. Yes, so we started this whole thing by looking at this most simplest map of human potential. We said that, oh, at all times we actually grow in consciousness and we mature, our mind matures, and we master our emotions, and we master our and develop our body in all kinds of ways. And then we're also mastering our own uniqueness, coming to terms with it and expressing it, remember? And so we said that, well, there are maps for all these things. We can look at how we actually grow and what stages and so on and so forth. And so in the first month, we were looking at this map of full human potential, keeping in mind that the full potential, yes, there are maps, and we can map what humans have evolved to on the planet, but then it's unlimited. There is more and more, and every day we grow as individuals and as a collective, and so more opens up for us as the natural progress of evolution unfolds in us, as us, through us. And so today I'll dive a little deeper into a few of these, into uniqueness specifically, and into mind. We'll be tackling these two more than anything, and consciousness as well, actually. Yeah, for sure. So we'll start with uniqueness, and we'll look at the Enneagram. And the Enneagram is part of a bigger set of tools that look at typologies of humans and the drives of humans, like what motivates us, what really drives us. And typology, what's a typology? Well, you look at trees or plants, and then you have this like taxonomy, so classifications. This is this family, that family, the trees, the grass, this type of tree, that type of tree. So same for humans, we have types. And so any system of personality tests, or whatever we want to call them, they essentially, human design included, they do the same thing. They describe a typologies that exist, what differences there are in humans, and then they describe each one of the types so that then we can become more conscious of our own behaviors, and so we can transcend that and choose our behavior, and all of this good stuff. And so the Enneagram is a very ancient system. Actually, people don't realize that, because it's in fact one of the most popular testing systems in the world, at par with Myers-Briggs, MBTI, and Big Five Ocean personality testing. But the Enneagram is actually way more ancient than these other types. It goes back into history. So Riso Hudson and Claudio Naranjo are kind of like the two most influential schools of the 20th century, or the second half of the 20th century. And nowadays, more people get even deeper into this stuff. It was brought up from being forgotten by Gurdjieff, a Russian origin mystic with Russian origins, in the beginning of the 20th century. And the story goes that it actually goes back into Egypt, this system. I don't know, but I was told by a teacher that it actually goes back into Egypt. And so there are 9 types in the Enneagram. So there are 9 kinds of human personalities that there are in the world. And what we will do now is that we will look into the essence of each one of them. Like, how does that look and feel when somebody like really embodies that type of the personality of the Enneagram? Then we'll look at the shadow of each one. What is the biggest life lesson that each type has in this, like as we go about life? And what's their medicine or golden shadow? What is their gift? What that type is especially great at doing or being? And so that will allow us to, as I go through these types, and I'll speak about them in just a second, feel into it, because it's very important to understand that it's not like we're only one type or 2 or 3. We're all of them, right? All of them are present within us, just to a different degree, to a different ratio, just naturally, right? Like in anything else, there is a natural distribution. So we'll naturally have the one that we most express as, we'll have one that we express the least as, and everything in the middle, right? So we could even like score them. In fact, that's what tests do. They score those types and their presence within us. However, for this practical purposes of this talk, just feel which one you connect with the most, one of them, as I speak about it, right? As I speak about its essence, as I speak about the shadow and the medicine. And this will be a quick one because I'm going to the very, very root and essence of it so that it's easier to connect with each archetype, okay? So let's go. So we'll start with the first one. Don't read them. I'll speak to each one of them real brief. So we'll start with the first one on the upper right. These are people that are driven to do good. So much so that they may even be a perfectionist in their approach. These are people for whom it really matters to do the right thing and not the wrong thing. This right or wrong is what drives them. This calling to really discern between right and wrong. Okay, this is the first type. The second type are people that have an innate drive to help or serve. So whether they want it or not, this or aware of it or not, there is a huge inner drive to give, essentially, to give to other people, to be helpful, useful to other people. That's the inner drive. Then the third one are driven people that are role models. So these are people that feel that they can and they want to be excellent and to achieve and to have a public image and to be seen as that. So these are people that have that drive to be a role model. Okay. Number 4 are the creative artists within us. The drive to self-express, to be different, to individualize, to be expressing that uniqueness. Then number 5 are the truth seekers. These are the people for whom the most important drive is to understand. They really want to understand everything. So they want to question, investigate, dig up. They want to understand. Understand is the drive. This is my most expressed type, actually. Then there is number 6, which is the trustworthy and diligent people. So these are people that really value trust in both ways. Trust that is created in a community or in a group, and also being trustworthy themselves. This is an immense drive of these people, and diligence as well. So like looking at what can go wrong, doing what's here to prevent that from happening, and to just, yeah. So and then like consistently, diligently working towards one's goals. That's number 6. Then number 7 are the adventurers and the explorers. This is my second most expressed type in me, and the drive here is to explore all the options, savor and know everything that's out there. Then in the inner, in the outer, like it's a little bit of pleasure seeking there. Yeah. So then the number 8 is the challenger, the willful challenger. These are willful, decisive people that want to challenge others and status quo. We'll speak about the shadow and the medicine of that in just a second. These are people that want to change the status quo, want to change things, want to optimize things. And there's this innate drive to do that. And then finally, the number 9 are people that harmonize and make peace, create and make peace and harmonize and create unity, harmonize environments, groups of people. Yeah. Okay. So those were the 9 types. Continue feeling into what would be your number 1 that you feel is most expressed in your life. And there are only 9s, there are no others. And so I try to get to the very essence of it. These are not the official names. This is the name I gave that reflects that inner essence. I've been working with the Enneagram for about 5 years now, and I'll speak a little bit about the zone of genius, how it's connected to the Enneagram. It's actually a derivative of the Enneagram typology. So anyways, we'll continue now into the shadows. So each type has these 2 sides of the coin, right? On one side of the coin, there is the shadow, and on the other side of the coin is the gold. The most natural expression of that type that people express as when they're at their best. Okay, so the shadow is the essentially like the life lesson, like a big group of life lessons for these people of that resonate with a particular type that if known can be really helpful, can be really helpful to become more aware of that in one's own psychological life development. And so let's go and name the shadows of each one of them. So number one was the do-gooder, the perfectionist, right? And so they become so in their shadow expression, so hung up on that perfectionism and on that right or wrong dichotomy that they start to be judgmental, opinionated, picky towards others and towards themselves. So judgment is something that plays out a lot in the lives of people that have that type as their most pronounced. The second one is overgiving. Basically, it's the martyrdom, the self-sacrifice, the overgiving. So the drive to give is so much that people give without noticing that they're actually damaging themselves or not taking care of themselves first. Number three is people pleasing and self-doubt. So number three, if you remember, was the driven role models, people that want to achieve and show excellence. And so as they do so, they care too much about the opinion of the others and how they're seen. And so that creates this life lesson of learning to let go of the people pleasing and come into one's sovereignty, to serve as a role model from a balanced place, not from people-pleasing place or worthlessness, the sense of worthlessness inside of themselves. Okay, and a short pause here. I want to emphasize that this is very powerful knowledge because by knowing all the types, first of all, we can notice them inside of us playing out because we do have only one that is most pronounced, but all of them are playing out inside of us, right? Like we all have to learn to deal with judgment, with overgiving, with people pleasing, etc., etc. So this is very powerful to get to know the inner space of uniqueness and also to see that in other people. Because as long as the better we know these types and we feel their essence, the easier it is to notice it in the other people. And so we become like radars without, forcing it or overthinking it. We start just becoming aware of which type of the Enneagram each person is coming from or living from or is most right now, living from. Okay, so that was parenthesis. Now we continue with number four. Number four are the creative artists, remember? So when somebody is a creative artist, they their shadow is to isolate themselves, to believe that they're so different from others that they can't really be with anyone because they're just too different. And so and so no one is like them, no one gets them. You know what I mean? And so isolation is what happens when people give in to that shadow, and drama as well. So creative expression, not towards maybe the wisest things, which can lead to drama inside, inner, outer, in relationships, etc. So number five. Moving on to number five. Number five are the truth seekers. So the truth seekers have a shadow of being ungrounded and also isolating themselves in the ivory tower. So knowing so much, so thinking that others don't know as much, or getting like too deep into that ivory tower of knowledge. So everything else gets like forgotten. So that's the shadow of the number five, truth seeker. Definitely been there, done that. And obviously this is a lifelong journey, right? Like there's always peeling the layers of the onion. And we'll speak about that in just a second. Number six, Number 6 are the trustworthy and diligent people with those drives. And so as trust is at the center of their perception, trust issues is usually the shadow and the lesson that this people with that type live a lot. Trust issues with themselves, not trusting oneself, and not trusting others. And so hence, like looking for confirmations that others should not or cannot be trusted. I have to do everything myself, that kind of stuff. And so that's the shadow of this type. And also fearfulness, as these people naturally are very good at thinking through risks and imagining risks that can be a degree of fearfulness because of that, as people just give in too much to what can go wrong. Okay. Now number 7, the shadow is number 7 was the adventurers and the explorers, and the shadow here is escapism and attention deficit. So if someone just continuously wants to explore what's next, or what's the other thing available, or what's coming, then that basically robs them of the present moment, and they live contemplating the future and forget to come back to what's here now. And so that creates a degree of escapism and attention deficit, as people jump from one thing to another, and even some degree of detachment, right? I'm kind of highlighting not the extremes, but towards the shadow extreme, so that we can connect with this more easily. Because again, all of these are present in all of us. So number 8. So as the willful challenger, they're willful. Will is strong in these people, and also they challenge. And so in its unhealthy expressions, that shows up as ruthlessness and dictatorial, being dictatorial. Okay, so that's quite a shadow there, right? Ruthlessness, dictatorial, because of the drive to challenge the status quo and to challenge systems, people, businesses, etc. And then finally, number 9, inner disharmony, self-betrayal. So the number 9 was the harmonizer and the peacemaker. And so the drive to harmonize and to create peace is so strong that they neglect their inner peace and their inner harmony, which is inner disharmony and self-betrayal. Yeah, so that's important to be conscious of and to watch out as we harmonize the environments around us. We don't self-betray ourselves. We go from a cup that is full or overflowing. Okay, so these were the shadows. And now the bright side. What can we be as expressions of these types, which are present in all of us, in their beautiful, most healthy, mature, masterful self-expression? So number 1, the do-gooders and perfectionists, they grow, they are very good. Okay, something dropped back. Okay. Hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hi, I'm so jealous of that sun over there. Ooh, everybody looks so beautiful.
Good to have you. Okay, so moving on, we're talking about the golden shadow, or the medicine of each type. So this is how we show up again at our best as each type. So the number 1, the do-gooders and the perfectionists, they become, it's very easy for them to tell right from wrong as compared to other people, other types. And so they develop this incredible integrity and wisdom, and they're really on mission. Like since they really ask themselves, what am I here to do? What's the best thing for me to do on the planet? What's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to do? Then they grow that. It's easier for them to be in integrity, to be wise, and to be on mission than other types. So that's the shadow. So if you identify yourself as resonating the most with this type, then this is the gift from life to you. These things come easy, and they develop the fastest. Okay, moving on to number 1. So as the helpers that want to give and serve, these are very natural at teaching and healing, which are kind of the 2 major ways really to give, to teach or to guide or to lead, and to heal, to yeah, those have a natural talent for those. Number 3. So number 3, it's the easiest for them to become inspirited leaders, because the drive to, lead by example, to be excellent, to accomplish, to achieve, to this is like the most natural leadership archetype. The what did we call them? The driven role models. The driven role models. Okay, number 4. So the creative artists, they obviously are most natural at the unbounded self-expression. So creativity, artistry comes to them easiest of all types. Obviously, everybody's creative, everybody self-expresses, and there's no limits to that. Yet this type, if you recognize that this is your most expressed side, then this is your gift. And so you grow in self-expression faster than other types. Then the gift of number 5 is the truth and wisdom. So since all day long they try to understand, well, guess what? They understand better and better. And so truth and wisdom are the natural gems, the natural results of that. Number 6. So as number 6 is so focused and skillful at risk mitigation and at bonds creation and at loyalty creation within communities, within any group of people, they naturally emerge as the central figure in their community. And community, it doesn't have to be something, an organized community. Just we all talk to a number of people, right? We're like a nexus, a hub, a center of our own community. Each one of us has a unique community that we belong to, right? That is our tribe, our community. And so these people have the natural tendency to become a central figure of excellence in those communities. That's so beautiful. Isn't it beautiful that these types have that as their shadow? It's very beautiful in my view. Okay, so number 7 is are the adventurers and the explorers. And so as they explore and venture into the inner and into the outer, they naturally become visionaries, because they just get a lot of exposure. They have seen this, they have seen that, they have tried this, they have tried that. And so that's a vision. That's the Condor vision. That's the higher perspective vision. And innovators as well, because knowing what's possible it comes with a drive to add something new to it, to naturally, as they see that wider perspective. Number 8 is the systems changer. So these are the true world changers, really, because the drive to improve what they see and systems they touch is just so strong that they really truly change those systems in their healthy best self-expression. And then finally, number 9 are like the harmonizers, the tuning forks. They come to any place and then it harmonizes. Conflicts get mediated, right? Conflicts dissolve. They just naturally know exactly what to say and what energy to bring to a space, and it harmonizes, it neutralizes, it comes back to peace. How about that as a golden shadow? So, and remember, we all have all of them in us. So as we grow and as we develop into that full human potential, we are on mission, and we are the teachers and healers, and we are inspirited leaders, and we are creative artists with unbounded self-expression, and we are the truth keepers and the wisdom keepers, and we are the central figures of our own communities with excellence in some way. And we are all the visionary innovators, and we are all are system changers, and we all are harmonizers and peacemakers in our potential, and to some degree already today. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful that we're all that? And we're all this. And we're all this. We escape, get addicted, sometimes act ruthlessly, we betray ourselves sometimes, we judge and create and sometimes act too opinionated, we self-sacrifice ourselves and overgive without regard to our own well-being. Sometimes we please people, we doubt ourselves, we self-isolate, we do drama sometimes that is unnecessary. Sometimes we act ungrounded and isolate themselves in our knowledge. Sometimes we get filled with fears. Sometimes we doubt if we can trust ourselves. Sometimes I think I've covered them all. Yeah, yeah, and we're all these beautiful things too. So that's the paradox to in our path of development, to embody more and more of the golden shadow and to transcend and accept and acknowledge and heal the shadows as we go. And now please take just a moment to put on paper or in the comments what you feel is the most resonating type for you. Yeah, you already have the answer. You don't have to overthink, obviously. It's you already felt into this as you were listening. And so just tune in, get that intuitive answer. Beautiful. So thank you for those that put it into comments. I'll take a look. You guys can take a look right now as well. It's a little difficult when I'm sharing to take a look at the comments. So, okay. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And a couple more things about the Enneagram to wrap this part up. The upper ones, 891, are more instinctive. So they tend to act from the gut, trust the instincts. This is the do-gooders, the peacemakers, the harmonizers, and the willful challengers. Now, numbers 7, 6, and 5 are the thinking types. So the truth seekers, the adventurers, and the diligent, trustworthy, they think more than feel. They tend to think more than feel and use instincts. And then 2, 3, 4, helpers, role models, and creative artists are the feeling types, which is interesting, right? Because we a lot of times don't think about, don't see leaders as the feelers for first and foremost. But that's actually what it is if you look deeper. Okay, and then another one, you can look at this at your own leisure later on. This is a very, very interesting also take on this. The dramatic title, Deadly Sins. But essentially there is a quote unquote sin or shadow or energy to work with that is most prevalent for that type, for each of the types. So I won't look through them. I'll just name them, but you can look at this at your leisure later on. Type number 1, do-gooders, is anger. Helpers, pride. 3, deceit. 4, envy. 5, avarice, I think you pronounce it. 6, fear. Avarice, I think, is greed, very close to greed, if I'm not mistaken. 6, fear. 7, gluttony, right? Like when we want to savor all these options, then and then 8, lust, and 9, sloth. Okay. So moving on, and Zone of Genius builds upon the Enneagram. So essentially, I made a list of talents for all of the types of the Enneagram, and this is great to know how all the types of the Enneagram work within us, to know ourselves and to know other people, and to have an easier time integrating those shadows and healing that. And for the practical purposes, it's really good to focus not only on our number 1 type, but on even a more precise self-expression of ours that we called Zone of Genius previously. So just wanted to name that Zone of Genius is a direct derivative from the Enneagram. And so that's also why it's powerful, and it's, it works Okay, so the other piece on uniqueness is multiple intelligences. This is another very cool one. Enneagram was the biggest chunk, so this we're going to go shorter into each one of the next ones. So multiple intelligences. We're going to expand a little bit our horizon of perception by looking into the intelligences that we all possess. And the story here is somewhat similar to the Enneagram in the sense that we have a set of intelligences within us. Some researchers say 10, some researchers say 20, some researchers say 50, some researchers say even more. And obviously all of this is true. It's just a matter of like how granular you look at it. So it's a matter of perspective. So there's a lot of intelligences. And the big idea here is that they all are within us and they all are at work every day of our life. Now, this is a knowledge that we usually don't get, in school or university or work. But this is very simple. And so just by knowing that we have these multiple intelligences, this is what some of them are, and this is what they mean, this is how they work in the present moment in me, within me, then that illuminates those intelligences within us. And so instead of just using them, unconsciously, we start to use them intentionally and consciously. And as we use them, we start noticing how we use them. And as we start noticing how we use them, we start using them with even more intention and consciousness. And so that's a whole feedback loop that leads us to develop across all of these intelligences, which is another aspect or facet of our full human potential. It's there, it's within us, it's at work at all times. So it's very helpful to know that this is what's at work. So in terms of what these intelligences are, the most well-known scheme is this, that there is an interpersonal kind of between people intelligence. There is a bodily kinesthetic. So it's like, some people are better at sports and more coordinated than others. That's the level of their bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Then existential is about asking deep questions. Naturalistic is about connection with nature and understanding nature and being, in sync with nature. Logical is about like mathematical thinking. Linguistic is verbal and use of words, of languages, etc. And interpersonal is within, understanding within, self-awareness. However, I feel the researchers that I like the most, they speak about some others that are also present within us that are even more important to understand. So we're going to go through 7 key intelligences, and I'm going to tell you guys what each of them really means. What does each intelligence really perceives about the world around us? And these are cognitive, emotional, moral, spiritual, willpower intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and bodily intelligence. So some of them are the same as the previous slide, but some of them are others. And so this is an important list because this is important to cultivate in life. And each one of these intelligences is developed so that we, encounter reality in our life and we know how to deal with it. So it's just the natural process of these intelligences being developed in humans and in animals, and then growing infinitely towards the potential of what it could be, right? And so what's cognitive intelligence? Cognitive intelligence is essentially cognizing or noticing, being aware of something or not, right? It's what we talked about in the consciousness trajectory when we spoke about bits per second, that in each moment in time, we notice stuff. And how much stuff we notice, it's our ability to notice, certain amount of information in a given time. So cognitive is exactly that. And what it does, it basically cognizes, becomes aware of stuff, things, of inner space, all of it. So that's the cognitive intelligence. Emotional is discerning, being in touch, reading our own emotions and inner states and those of others. So the emotional intelligence answers the question, what am I feeling right now? And what are others feeling? Moral intelligence answers the question, what's the right thing to do? So when we encounter a life situation and then we're like a little unsure, what's the right thing to do? That's the moral intelligence, when the application of moral intelligence. We start understanding what is the right and what is less right thing to do. That's the moral intelligence at work. So next time you're in this situation, watch yourself, if you want, making that call. And as you do, you get better and better at quicker and more wisely understanding what's the right thing to do. How cool is that? Next, spiritual. Spiritual intelligence is answering the question, what matters the most right now? And notice that this is not really about spirituality or any religion or anything like that. It's what's of utmost importance right now. What really matters right now? It's basically telling important from unimportant. It's prioritizing. Very powerful. Very powerful. We could even, I guess we could even say that as we grow spiritually, we start prioritizing better. And that gives us that laser focus of productivity and focus. Next, willpower. People don't think about it as an intelligence, but isn't it an intelligence to have a certain amount of willpower to exercise? And willpower essentially is a form of healthy control, is a form of dominion over oneself in a healthy way. It's yes, that's what it is. It's sovereignty in a purer way than just controlling things. It's a very subtle distinction, because I'm not suggesting that we control anything, because we can't control really anything. But willpower is exercising our will. Yes, so that's different. Intrapersonal is the self-awareness. It's looking within and knowing what's going on. What am I feeling? What am I sensing? What do I need? What's emerging in my inner space right now? That's the intrapersonal. And finally, bodily is awareness of bodies. And by the way, not only the physical body, with all the other bodies. Yeah, so it's awareness and usage of our bodies, physical, energetic, mental, emotional, spiritual, etc. Okay, so those were the multiple intelligences, and we're moving on. Let's take a few breaths to let this sink, because we're shifting gears a little bit now. Yeah, in a nutshell, we looked at typologies. So within humans, there are different personality types at work at all times, with their shadows and golden shadows, shadow and medicine. And there are intelligences, multiple intelligence at work in us at all times. And so, by the way, what's the one that you feel is your most developed? Because guess what? It's the same thing. We usually connect with some others. They're more natural to us than the others, and everywhere in between. I'll send you guys a test after this training that you can take to figure that out. But now, in your own resonance, in your own intuitive knowing, which one you're naturally gifted with? Put it in the comments or on your sheet of paper. Just the first thing that comes is usually the right, as you know. Okay, my beautiful people. Well, not my beautiful people, but you know what I mean. Integral spiral dynamics. Yeah, we're shifting gears here a little bit. And this is such a good one. This is such a good one. Wow, this is so juicy. This training, I don't know, I love it. These are like my favorite systems of knowledge, I guess. And I'm so happy that I'm actually sharing this. It's the first time I share it in this way, and I love all of these. Okay, so mind. We're shifting gears to mind. Remember, we were talking about uniqueness before with the multiple intelligences and the Enneagram typology, and this time it's the mind. And so what the mind does, it matures. There is a filter of perception, like a lens that grows and matures. And remember how we spoke that that lens that our mind is, that perceives the world around us, goes through particular stages. And this is very powerful knowledge. There's a ton of science on this. There's no doubt about it. There are all kinds of integrated models, and they're all showing the same 6, 7, 8 stages, depending on how people break them down. And very important that we grow through one stage, then we move to the next, then we move to the next, then we move to the next. And remember how I was showing you that we'll get to it in a second. So why is this important? Because, well, it's the center of our very, very life. Like our perception begets everything that we do. The way we perceive is the way we show up, right? And so our perception, the level of our maturity and the worldview begets how we build relationship, what kind of relationships and how we build them, how we build teams or act in teams, how we act in organizations and what organizations we resonate with, how we do parenthood, how we are with friends and what kind of friends and what kind of friendships we have, what kind of, as a society, as a collective, what kind of institutes, public policies we build. This all comes from our perception. The way our perception is, the way we create into the world. So this is hugely, hugely important, hugely. And I want to say here that this is the funky thing. We cannot see those lenses that we currently have installed from the inside. Like in the states of consciousness, like you're meditating and then you can tell, like, oh, I'm in a more expanded state, or I am in more like shallow, anxious state, or whatever. We can see it. But this time, with the mind, we cannot see it because we see through it. It's like a goggles that we have on, but we don't know we have them on because it's just the way we are. And so, right, and so growth in these stages is really being able to disidentify from the goggles and saying, oh, I've been looking through the world through this. Now I finally am mature. But wow, I was kind of like a little, I don't know, I only saw a part of the reality. Now I see more. But guess what? You still have the next lens, the still next goggles. And so what we won't go into like theory or anything here, but what's important to understand here is that as we are children, or in the as we were becoming humans, we could only see our own perspective. And children, like small children, toddlers, they cannot see another person's perspective. They just cannot. It's only their perspective. And then as we grow up a little bit, we start seeing somebody else's perspective. We're like, oh, they're thinking this and I'm thinking this. Okay, well, I guess we disagree. Before that, we cannot even do that. And so this is called ethnocentric perspective. And ethnocentric perspective is when it starts to matter. Our community starts to matter. What other people, think and how they see us starts to matter a lot. And in the beginning of the growth into this, too much. And so that's the balancing act of the lenses that we're talking about, right? At first we're like, oh, I can I'm exaggerating, but oh, I can see what the other person is thinking. Oh, it matters so much to me. I have no idea what to do with this. Oh, it's like death. Like what if they're thinking I'm a bad person? And so right. And we're like, oh, it's so overwhelming. And then as we grow up, it's like, what's the fuss? Like, right? So that's how it works. We calibrate lens. And as we calibrate it to the degree when we start seeing world-centric ideas, in today's world, this is teenagers. I don't know, 10 years old or something. I have the information on the exact age that corresponds to these, but it doesn't matter right now, and I can't remember exactly, but something along those lines. 10, 12 years, people start to realize that, there's just physics. There is no Christian physics or Muslim physics or Buddhist physics. There's just physics. There's just an object, and we study it. Maybe you didn't connect with that example. That's fine. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. The idea here is that our perspective grows. It's more mature, and it's our thinking. Our thinking gets better, gets more powerful, gets more descriptive of the actual reality around us. as our lens get calibrated and accurate. Okay, so this I already said. And then those levels, it's an act of balancing and self-reflection on these things, right? We don't have time now, but I in one of the trainings in month 1, I showed you the balancing tool for the different lenses that we have in when we were talking about the mind. I think it was the very first training. And so you can go back to that and see. And yeah, we don't have time for this. I'd love, so if you want, you can go to that, look at that balancing tool, and then and we did that in that training, and see which ones you are currently balancing more than others, and what others there is still a little bit of balancing to do, even though you've already like grown through that. So that's a very powerful exercise in order to understand. And why this matters. This matters so much because we are, as humanity, shifting to a completely new stage of mind perception that is very different from the previous ones. And we're getting into really juicy stuff here. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so what's the difference between the tier 1 and tier 2 perception, tier 2 and tier 2 mind? The difference is that in the tier 1, we're still calibrating the different lenses. So we're focusing on one aspect of reality more than others. What do I mean by that? Well, some people focus on a lot on, food and safety. And that's the lowest level, really. Almost no one is mostly focused on that in life, really. These are exceptional cases, almost no one. Then the next one is, pleasure and sex. And so pleasure and sex, not many people are super overly focused on that to the exclusion of other things. So, but then as we go up that ladder, then yeah, like people that are super zoomed in onto achievement and money and excellence and ambition and like rationality, plenty of that. As people grow through that, as they calibrate, and they're like, yeah, of course, money important, achievement important, excellence important, accomplishments important, expertise important, but to some degree, it's a part of life. It's not the entirety of my life's purpose and life's meaning for me, right? Because it isn't. But it takes time to calibrate those lenses. It's just the growth process, right? And then the next one, then we're like, oh, okay, actually, what really matters is impact. Like, who cares about the money? Who cares about the achievement? I really want to be doing something good for the world, and so that people are equal, something like that, right? So that's the overall. I'm exaggerating a little bit. The focus on the next level of mind right, and so we don't want to have too much importance on that, because then it starts to damage other areas of life. Like if we think money is like, we really don't want money because it contradicts impact, well, that's a journey that I don't recommend to anyone. And so and so as we grow through that, then the tier 2 starts. And what is the tier 2? There's no like nothing crazy or complex about this. This is basically all those prior lenses have been calibrated to some good degree. And then we're like, oh, there's kind of like nothing else. There's just all of those that matter in different degrees, and they're calibrated. And then we're like, oh, and so then some magic happens in our mind, in our thinking. And this is called that thinking goes from linear to exponential. A process happens. Yeah, this is money. A process happens for sure. A process happens in our mind that releasing the overly focused perception on a particular aspect of reality, we give space to all aspects of reality in a holistic way. And so, because we don't focus on one thing and grow in that one thing, but we focus on all of the aspects of reality and we grow into them at the same time, this is an exponential component. So we start thinking in a completely different way. And this is called integral thinking or holistic thinking, which is the next stage. It's in almost all models of human development, it's called an integral or integrative or integrating or integrated stage of perception of the mind. And to refer to it in an easy way, we can just say integral thinking or holistic thinking, which is another way of thinking, another way of perceiving the world where we see wholes. We don't see any more fragments or pieces that are kind of like floating in the void, separated from everything else, but we start to see reality as an interconnected thing, where things are not broken into pieces. They're interrelated, interconnected. And so let me give you an example to drive this home. Please feel into this as I speak about it. So an example. In fact, when all sciences started, there wasn't, right now we go to school and it's like, oh, now is biology. And then the next one is going to be mathematics, and then physical education, and then there will be chemistry. And so they kind of tell us that these are separate pieces of like knowledge floating somewhere in the air. When in reality, far from truth, there's just one reality, and we just look at it from different perspectives. And in fact, physics and biology are not even that clear cut. They intersect a ton. And so does chemistry, and so on and so forth. And this is reflected in how humanity developed science overall. First, we started with just philosophy. There was just philosophy, nothing else, okay? Then all of a sudden, science appears. Ooh, I guess science and philosophy, I guess they're like part of the same still. Then there is, what is that? Theology. Then theology appears. Oh, theology. So we got philosophy, science, and theology. Three things. Then politics, mathematics, physics. Okay, so we got these pieces floating in that philosophy field. And then we got, sociology and art and all kinds of economics and sciences, right? And so what I'm illustrating here is that it's never been separate. This is just one reality, and we take a different perspective to describe pieces of this reality. And so in school, they better teach this, that, hello, we're here to study reality. But for the practical purposes, we're going to have physics and then philosophy and then politics and then economics, right? So this is I'm glad that we're having fun here, and this is very, very powerful, and it's such a simple example. And so this is for us to get a feel for that holistic thinking in wholes. Okay, and this applies to everything, obviously, to everything. And so now we're gonna listen to Ken Wilber, who is maybe the most prominent living philosopher in the world, and he's gonna explain the integral thinking better than I can do, because he's just so good. He's a powerhouse. Okay, so let me see. We got here. Can you guys let me know if you can hear it? 1 second, it hasn't started yet. Could you hear it? Yes, good. That's important. Okay, so it's a 7-minute thing. You can listen to it with your eyes closed. It can be a little intense because he's very high-level thinker, but it should be easy enough to understand. And I recommend paying attention. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's basically like an activation of integral holistic thinking. Okay, ready? Oh, I'm so excited about this one. I haven't listened to this in a long time myself. Okay, let's go. Yes, 7 minutes. And then there will be yet another one, another level of thinking for 3 minutes. So we'll building up. Okay, ready? Let's go. 1 second, it's about to start. There's some it's loading. Okay, here we go.
Level 7, integral. As various researchers
Oh, there's a little bit of a connection lag, guys. We may not be able to do it.
continued their studies
Yeah. Stops every few
of
seconds.
these major levels of development,
Yeah, I'll give it a few seconds more.
they begin to note some.
Okay, we're changing gears. I'll read to you the transcript myself, okay? That's as best as we can do. So give me 1 second. I'll share my screen now. There, here we go. Okay, so I'll read it out loud, okay? Level 7 integral. As various researchers continued their studies of these major levels of development, they begin to note some rare but incredibly new, different and radically unprecedented responses, with which at first were so different that didn't make sense. Claire Graves, an early pioneer in this research, described it as follows. All of the previous 6 levels, which together came to be known as the first tier, each felt that their truth and values were the only real truth and values in existence. So each type thought it was the only way to see the world. And all the others were infantile, stupid, loopy, or just plain wrong. But this new response saw some sort of value and significance in all of the previous levels. Even if they weren't psychologically sophisticated and couldn't elucidate this point, they at least intuitively understood that each level was important because it became an ingredient or component of its higher level. And that's right. Everybody is still born at level 1 at archaic and moves from there with each level becoming a part or aspect of the next higher level of perception. Since each level as a whole transcends and includes its predecessors, this new level, in other words, began to see the whole of reality and all of its parts. Suddenly, profound meaning returned. Suddenly, everything began to fall into place. Suddenly, there was room for everything. Suddenly, values and worth and purpose returned. Graves called it, quote, a monumental leap in meaning. He named it systemic level. Another researcher called it integral perspective. Levenger called it integrated, and so did Carol Gilligan. We call it integral and also second tier to differentiate it from the first 6 levels of first tier. Only about 5% of the population is now at this integral level. But it's growing fast, and it's so different, so unique, so unprecedented from all the previous stage levels that it points to an entirely different type of awareness or consciousness. And it is promising to change everything, absolutely everything. Never before in history there has been a society that was truly all-inclusive, that included all levels of development as significant stations in life, that took all the true but partial truth from every level and added them all up into a comprehensive map of life and would use that map to help plot their own growth, development, and evolution. Instead, today we have culture wars, or one sort or another, that turn into real wars around the world. When lower egocentric and ethnocentric interests get involved, we have the complete fragmentation of our knowledge systems into hundreds of different silos, each of which has virtually no awareness or understanding of the others, and certainly no understanding of how they all fit together into any sort of comprehensive framework. We have an educational system that of all the numerous perspectives, levels, multiple intelligences, states of consciousness, types of being, all of which we cover in our discussions, selected most 2 multiple intelligences out of all to focus on, cognitive and emotional. They're likely cognitive science and literature or humanities. All the other extraordinary potentials of humans are ignored and left out, including the most important of all,
awakening or enlightenment or self-liberation, the realization of our truest, deepest, most real self and our accompanying ultimate reality. As we will see, these can be awakened, these can be realized, these can be known, but in our fractured, fragmented, torn, and partial educational system and culture at large, no way. This leaves individuals with a small, finite skin, encapsulated ego, as the only self most individuals know. It is self-fragmented, torn, fractured, and partial, and thus living a life of torment, terror, tears, and torture. A life set the road of quiet desperation, lacking wholeness, meaning, and value. But this can be changed. These dimensions can be activated, brought to life, lived and engaged dramatically, changing the very nature of life in the process. Each of us can start by making what Graves called the monumental leap in meaning, where the world goes from being seen as broken, torn, fragmented, partial, and piecemeal to whole, one, interconnected and interwoven, unified and unifying, a radiant display of an infinite number of luminous jewels, each of which reflects all of the others in a dazzling array of interwoven whole, and then broken, full, complete, free and radiant, released and liberated, comprehensive and all-inclusive. This can be your condition. It can be done. It is an evolutionary potential given to each and every one of us if we walk the way. Yes, so that was the integral level of thinking, illustrated by bringing the fragments together. And so then there's more available to us as we calibrate that new tier 2 lens of perception. And this is known as holonic thinking. And holons is, we'll speak about that in level 3, I guess. The holons is a word that I don't want to define right now. It essentially reflects how reality is built, how it's organized. Yes. The first principles, our first trainings, kind of illustrate some of the principles. Anyway, so the point here is not to define it, but to say that after the integral level, which a lot of people are growing through right now on the planet, there is even bigger potential for thinking and perception that we refer to here as the holonic thinking. And now let's try to get a feel for it, get a grasp. Why are we doing this? Because this is the potential of all of us. In fact, the integral thinking is even available to anyone, to some degree, to some nascent degree. Anyone can understand this thinking in wholes. That's why, you know, if I tell people, yeah, there was philosophy and then philosophy and science, and then we got all these pieces, but they're actually one, everybody can understand that, more or less. Everybody, almost everybody. But the holonic thinking is different. It's it kind of requires the previous level to mature to a good degree in order to then blossom into this holonic mind, holonic thinking. And this is incredible. This is incredible. And this is available to all of us as well. So let me try to explain it in a simple way. Again, very so that we can viscerally touch upon what is that level of thinking. And so the best illustration that I have for it is matryoshkas, the Russian dolls. You probably know these. In fact, few people know that their origin is actually from China, from ancient China. But they're known as Russian dolls. And so basically it's like a sequence of same looking dolls that are a fractal copy of the next one and the previous one. And this is the easiest way to explain holons. And basically everything in reality is made like these matryoshkas and Russian dolls. But guess what? Not like one line of them, but more something like this. So a fractal system of matryoshkas within matryoshkas going to infinity. in like a snowflake of matryoshkas that goes into infinity. So this is as best as I can do to get a feel for what this really this kind of level of thinking is. So essentially, this thinking is noticing that all of reality is made in this way and becoming aware of that. And so, and there is a tool. There is a tool that is very powerful to wake that up in ourselves, to wake that potential up. And the tool is called 4 quadrants. And I need your attention. This is so simple that it's elusive. This is so simple that it's elusive. Okay, it's very simple, and it can be elusive. So try to stay with this information. You can always rewatch it. The good news is very simple, and I explain it in a way that is understandable. And so let's dive right in. And this is essentially like what is this? It's like a thinking upgrade, an upgrade of a mental upgrade kind of thing. Yeah, so let's do this. It's very simple and so powerful. And we've already done this before. I just was doing this in the previous trainings without, giving the actual meta framework, the tool. But everything that I do is infused with this information and knowledge and thinking. So something very simple. We're going to divide maybe if you have a sheet of paper, divide the sheet of paper into 4 parts. So 2 lines. Draw one horizontal line, 1 vertical line, and you got 4 quadrants. So basically we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, and we got 4 quadrants, right? So far so good. I'm telling you, it must be simple. Okay, so we got 4 quadrants. So now let's work with this. So the horizontal line that we drew, it divides individual from collective, one from many, singular from plural. Okay, so on the upper part we got individual or one or yeah, and on the bottom we got collective, or as an example, team, organization, project, set of objects, right? So okay, now if we divide it vertically, we got the inner on the left and outer on the right. Okay, we got the inner on the left and outer on the right of anything. Okay, so now we got 4, 1 many, inner, outer. So far so good. Well, here's the big idea. Every holon, and reality consists of holons. Like we thought reality consists of atoms. Well, now we think, or yeah, that's the latest and greatest science and understanding, that reality consists of holons. It's known as the holographic principle. It's what quantum theory posits. Yeah, and so every holon, everything in existence, has these 4 quadrants in it. It has the inner of, there is one thing, and there is the inner of that one thing. Then there is exterior of that one thing. We can look at anything from what's kind of like, how is it within that thing within, and then look at it from the outside, right? And the same for many. We can look at what's the many is made of, and look at the many from the side, from a perspective. Okay, stay with me. We're building on this. And we could also name it, we could also say that, in the first quadrants, it's subject, the inner of one. We could say that the second is subjects. So the many, the inner of many. We can say that there is the outer of one, object. Something is an object, right? And objects. So 2 objects, look at them on the side, that's the objects. Or we could simplify it even further, and we could say that there is pronouns. There is I, there is we, there is it, and there is its. Multiple objects. And so simple, right? And so the idea is that everything in existence has these 4 components to it. Everything has these sides to anything. And so if you think about yourself, there is an inner of you. There is this inner space. There are feelings, sensations, an experience you're living right now, your bodily sensations, and no one can tell you if, like, people cannot tell you, oh, it's not true that you're feeling an itch on your foot right now. Can someone tell you if you're feeling an itch? That's just, you're like, yeah, right. Okay. Right? It's your inner experience. And science cannot really, no one can know that but us. Okay. Then there is it. It is looking at something from the outside. The case for AirPods, the phone with the charger, the water bottle. I look at it, it's like this big, this color, you know, made of that, this and that. I can study it. I can put it into a scientific lab and look at all kinds of parameters of it or whatever, right? Then we is, Gabriel and I. We have a relationship. We have a set of values that we share. We have a set of experiences that we share. We have kind of like mutual agreements on things. That's we. That's the we space. And then there is the it's space. The it's space is kind of like the big data, the economics, the society, looking at things that move together and that are interrelated. So like these two objects is it's for me, because I don't know, like they travel with me. I have them in my pocket, and so they belong to a system of objects that I carry. Something like that. Okay. Now let's look at an example. Two examples we'll look, and one is what we looked at in the Inspirited Leadership session. Remember, I told you that there are 4 types of leadership: visionary, directive, relational, and collaborative. Well, guess what? It maps onto this. So you could look at leadership through these 4 perspectives. The visionary is within. I see what, and I lead to that. Directive is there is a metric, there is a performance. I don't know, I have a sales quota, so I direct the organism, the team towards that metric, towards performance metrics, KPIs. Relational is well, I got a team, and some, a person has I don't know, something going on in their life, and so I'm going to talk to them to make sure they're okay, so that they perform better at work, something like this. And collaborative is, we are all one team, so we decide how we go about it together. And so this was one example, right? Then another example. How about we use that framework? And what I'm illustrating here for you guys is that everything has those 4 sides to it. Everything. And so this is a incredibly powerful framework through which to see the world. So you ask yourself, but I don't know, but does it apply to a phone? The answer is going to be yes, whatever you think of. But does it apply to like an abstract thing, to I don't know, love? And the answer is going to be yes. It applies to everything, just like the first principles. In fact, it's a universal principle as well. So now our next question in this example, in the second example, is: does it apply to products, to a business, to a business, to like a business is a company that sells different products, right? So can we apply it to that? And here's one that I kind of like invented, because it also allows to then invent things, to look at something that no one has looked at, or not in that way, and to come up with new knowledge about it. It's very powerful stuff. And so instead of saying, so individual and collective, instead of saying inner, outer, I said the inner would be for a product, like a problem or a need or a pain point or challenge or job to be done of the client. And the outer will be the solution, the actual product, like what is given to that need. And so we got four quadrants then: the needs of one person or people needs, and then team needs, and then solutions for people, and then team solutions. So this essentially breaks it down into an incredibly powerful way. And by the way, there's people solutions and team solutions is what's known B2B as B2B and B2C in the business world, right? Business to customer and business to business sales. And so we got these 4 quadrants. And so then we can essentially map any of the product ecosystem towards this. And we can say, well, I got this product for individuals, it solves this need. And I got this product for teams, it solves this need. And so in one quick map, we can see the entire product management of a given company in a way that is utterly simple and utterly powerful. And this is my original work, actually. Okay, so after this, how are we doing with time? Okay, I think we're going to extend for a little bit, 10, 15 minutes. If you need to jump off in 3 minutes, of course, do what you need. I'll keep going for another 10 minutes, I think. I want to finish this particular piece. We're weaving it together. So then another tool, and let's see if I skip that. No. In fact, what I want to do now is to first share again 3 minutes of explanation by Ken Wilber on what that kind of thinking feels like, and a little bit of a meaning of that. So it's quite short, so I'll read it out loud just like last time. Okay, 1 second. Allow me a minute to get this working. Okay, here we go. Level 8, super integral. As we will see, there are 2 basic forms of spirituality. One authentic and liberated, and one childish and enslaving, quite frankly. Now, I don't mean that as an ultimately nasty judgment. It's just that one of them was created primarily in humanity's childhood and confines individuals to childish, egocentric, and ethnocentric magic and mythic ways of thinking. This is often known as pre-rational religion because it's based on levels that are prior to reason, such as magic or mythic. The other type is trans-rational. It's beyond reason, but also includes it or has access to it. It's an actual psychotechnology of consciousness and transformation. It's a genuine change in consciousness from a small, limited, finite, separate self to what the Sufis call the supreme identity. An identity with ultimate reality itself, the ground of all being, one with the entire manifest and unmanifest universe. In total, this is a new level in evolution because it's not just a state, but a state plus all previous mind development stages or lenses, producing a unity with the highest state and the highest mind perception lens in existence. This is the super integral level, the transpersonal unity level, also called third tier. This is the highest level of structure and the highest tier to emerge yet. It's yet in evolution. In evolution, at second tier, a person will say things like the earth is a single organism with one mind, reflecting the conceptual unity at that level. At third tier, the individual experiences a direct unity with the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars and the entire manifest universe. You no longer see the mountain. You are the mountain. You no longer feel the earth. You are the earth. You are no longer aware of the clouds. You are the clouds, and from the highest level of interpretation and development imaginable. That combination of big mind, non-dualistic state with all the levels or mind worldviews or mind lenses together is referred to as a supermind. And supermind is the very leading edge of evolution itself, the very core of third tier, and it is your ultimate birthright and your own deepest, highest, and widest identity. So that was the energetic, I guess, transmission of this third tier of thinking. And I want to provide an example for that that we actually worked with already, something that I call holomaps. And it may sound fancy and ununderstandable, but we actually worked with this so much already. I was kind of like prepping us all for this. If you played a Fallout 2 computer game, and in many computer games, there is essentially a character and they have some parameters, right? Strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck, whatever, hit points, and so on. And essentially, we did exactly that with maps like this one. This one is a map from an organization called iConscious, and it's a full human potential map. So on the left-hand side, you see that it's consciousness, uniqueness, mind, emotions, and body. And then there are 15 stages of how they develop. So this is a full map of human development. And this is an example of a holomap. What do I mean by that? There are two major components of it. So the 5 trajectories, consciousness, uniqueness, mind, emotions, and body, is like a taxonomy or classification or a mind map of something. And it's not just any mind map, it's a holistic mind map. So there's no 6th component here. It's just consciousness, uniqueness, mind, emotions, and body in terms of human development major trajectories. We can break them down and so on, but the higher level is this. And so this is one part of a holomap. It's a mind map. It's a taxonomy or classification of what's available. In this case, for human development or for human potential. And then the columns, the 15 columns, is the developmental sequence. It's like, every human starts with at box 1, then they grow into box 2, box 3, box 4, box so on. And every human on Earth, with some very rare exceptions that, are evolved beyond illumination and enlightenment, everybody else is here, somewhere in this map, and can be tested in a scientifically validated way. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing the this map? We cannot see it.
Oh, I'm sorry for that, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for saying, Gabi. This was the so we're looking at holomaps, right? I said that this would be an example. This thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. From the computer game, right? Fallout 2. I was a big fan of this game as a teenager, and so essentially, it's something. This is the map of iConscious. So you got this would be very helpful with my explanation. So it's a 2-dimensional table, right? Just rows and columns, like your Excel spreadsheet. And so you got the 5 trajectories on the left, consciousness, uniqueness, emotions, body, mind, and then the 15 columns. And every human can be mapped, can be tested to be put onto these. And it's also very powerful in terms of knowing kind of what's coming after this. So this is an example of a holomap. Now, I'm not really showing it for us to go into this knowledge. I'm showing this to explain that this can be created in minutes with AI. Remember the quality of life map? Quality of life map is exactly the same. It follows the exact same logic. I say the major components of quality of life are health, wealth, happiness, social ties, home, love, relationships, impact, growth. And then I map them across 10 boxes. And so that every human on Earth, almost without exception, can be put onto that map of quality of life. Now, again, I'm not here teaching the map of quality of life. I'm saying that you guys can create such maps at your home for free in minutes. Now, what is this map? This map essentially is maps a complex system. or an aspect of reality. In this case, this map that you're seeing on the screen is a human development map or human potential map. Map of quality of life is a map of quality of life. I've shown you many other maps throughout these two monthly trainings, right? And now it's time for me to tell you that you can create these maps yourself in a matter of minutes. So watch me. We're going to recreate the map of quality of life right now. And you may be blown away by how simple it is and how few words I'm going to use right now. Hi, dear friend. Please create an integral map of quality of life. Use a 3x3 matrix, 3 key aspects. Let's see, you'll say this. Use 3 key aspects as rows and 3 key developmental stages as columns. This is all I'm going to say. I can also add, so this is very important that I put the word integral. Guess what? AI doesn't have a problem growing into integral thinking and holonic thinking. AI is already beyond that. So AI catches up in terms of intelligence with humanity, with the human it's talking to. So if the human says, create an integral map of life, AI is thinking, oh, okay, he needs an integral map of life. Good. I mean, it doesn't like have a judge or have an opinion, but we could say that it's thinking, oh, okay, this human gets it. He understands the integral thinking. Okay, so let's, no problem. Yeah, let's operate at that level of thinking. And then if we said holonic something, then it would just operate at the holonic level of thinking. I don't know what goes beyond yet, but I'm sure it could do that too. So this is it. I'm going to run this and let's see what we get. And AI is really good at this. In seconds, we got this map. So this is going to be something similar to what I've shown you guys. It's thought for 16 seconds, which is a good sign. Quality. Let me just remind you what it was. Yeah. So it gave, and I just asked for a very simple one, right? Then we can extend it and say, give me a 7x7 or give me a 5x7 or something. So we zoom in, right? The idea is that now we have a 3x3 table. So we got physical well-being. So slow. So we got physical well-being, emotional, psychological well-being, and existential, spiritual well-being. These are the 3 areas that it provided, right? And I mean, it's true, right? It's true. These are all of them. There's nothing missing in the well-being. But we could zoom in. We could say, well, physical well-being consists of different things. It's our body, but it's also our health, but it's also our physical environment, right? So we could go deeper. We could zoom in. But as for right now, we stay at the 3x3 layer. And then columns. Foundational, survival, and basic needs, first stage of development. The focus is on meeting essential needs for stability and security. Then thriving, growth and optimization, a stage of active development, self-improvement, and cultivating robust relationships. And then transcendent, integration and flourishing. One integrates and transcends the previous stages, experiencing deep meaning, connection, holistic living. So here's our table with the explanations for each. And this is, as you can, I don't know, I feel that this is very reflective of reality. It's a simple map. It's very simple. It's only 3x3. But yeah, of course, like I go through these, and in terms of physical, I go first survival and basic needs, then some growth and optimization, and then integration and flourishing. Yeah, sure. And then same on the emotional, psychological. And if we read the descriptions, we'll probably see that, like, yeah, it's spot on. And so you can use this map to identify your own, where you are, more or less, right? In thriving, or still in survival and basic needs, already transcending and flourishing on each of these three. And maybe you find out that, you know, you're lower in some of them, some others. And so it gives you a suggestion what to work on, what to focus on in your life, things like that. So this is not to create, you know, a particular artifact or piece of work or product, but we just did essentially, right? And so then I could say, amazing. Now, zoom in to produce a 7x7 matrix like this, or integral map like this. Anyway, so we won't actually run this. This is all I wanted to share you. So you see now how to zoom in. I just say zoom in essentially. So this is mind-blowing, and this can be done to anything, to any system. You could, I don't know, look at the respiratory system in the body and do this to that. You could look at Silicon Valley startup ecosystem and apply it to that. You can, it's really limited by your imagination. And your imagination is unlimited. So it's unlimited. So this is the tool I wanted to share with you guys. Now you can do this powerful thing with such simplicity. And let's see. Yeah, we're at the end. We're going to be closing this training. So why all of this? Why all of this thinking? What does this matter? Why does this matter to know the Enneagram types or any other system like human design types and these levels of thinking? Because our potential is to see wholes, not fragments. And our potential is to see interconnectedness of things, to see the intricacy of the interconnectedness of things with our mind, not only to see it and not only to feel it and to know it conceptually, but to actually, rather, not to know it conceptually, but to feel it, to where the thinking and the feeling kind of fuse together into one, where we not only conceptually know that, you know, our traumas are all connected to the traumas of other human beings on the planet in a web of, in a trauma web. And I just use trauma as an example, but to like really deeply know it in the body that this is so, and that that all life is one, that there is no separation, not only between humans through our genes, for example, but also between other animals, as we are all holons within other holons. Then this allows us to see deeper layers of reality. That's a good one. See quality in things, see deeper layers of reality, to understand what motivates people. Very important. So if we see these maps about ourselves, we start to see this about others. So it's a whole new level of understanding of others and understanding world events. So zooming out and seeing nations as, for example, as one human being, or as a woman and man unit, seeing nations like that, and then seeing how dynamics between nations plays out as if it was one person, one human, etc. Things like that. So this is the end of training 4. Congratulations. Was a little maybe heavy, was it? I think it's mind-blowing. That's no doubt. And for me, and so this was the Integral Mastery training. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for receiving this. And I want to share something else before we go. I have finished my first art collection yesterday. I didn't expect to do that. I didn't expect to like say it now, but that's what it is. And I want to show it a little bit to you guys. And this is a sticker collection. This is a I don't have like still yet the great explanation, but this is a sequence of stickers. This is on the white background. It's a series of stickers that show the creation process of the universe through sacred geometry, and all of them are infused with all the Hermetic principles, all the first principles of the universe. So these are very powerful, and there is a name for each, and these are steps of the creation sticker pack or sticker art. And if you guys, Yeah, and they go in sequence, like as creation develops. So I could even tell this. I plan to tell the story of creation through these stickers as like an NFT type of thing in addition to this art. And I feel like when I look at these, and they're made with all kinds of sacred geometrical principles, made with AI as well, pixel perfect. Well, not really, but mostly to the extent of my design abilities, pixel perfect. And yeah, and this has a deep meaning, and has a golden ratio in all of them, and show the process of universal creation. Yeah, and so yeah, yesterday I finished it and I was like, whoa, it just opened up for me, and I was like, whoa. I started to look at Etsy at other sticker artists, and like I never thought I would be a sticker artist, but apparently I am now. And so if I'm looking for somebody who can help me to sell them on Etsy or in another platform like that, Gumroad or something, or how to make an NFT out of these, yeah, and I'm gonna print them as well, and maybe like make them into phone wallpapers or something. So thank you for yeah, for inspiring me to create this as I was going through these sessions. And that's it for today. Sorry, I went a little over time, but I think maybe it was worth it. Thank you for sticking around. I'd love to hear your questions or thoughts, or how you're doing, what resonated with you out of this material, what was helpful. If you want any like guidance on anything else, whatever is alive for you.
Hey Alex, what's up? Once again, thank you so much for being here, for sharing all your knowledge, your wisdom, your smile, and your beautiful heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This class was very, to my, in my opinion and to my experience, somewhat in the metaphysical level. So I want to have to rewatch the video and try to absorb it in a different way if I can, or see if I can come up with the solutions to make the ends meet. But thank you, thank you. Yes, lots of insights and lots of expansion of horizons. Definitely an amazing class, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gabby. Wow, thank you, thank you. I'm glad, yeah, that you loved it, and definitely a metaphysical realm woven into applicability as well. And I think rewatching it is a great idea. I'll probably do that too. And you know, the way it works is that you watch the first time, and then it's like, yeah, and then it's like, whoa, now it's making sense what he was talking about in the beginning and why. And so as we watch the second time around, we already have like the bigger picture. And so then we start catching the deeper codes. I'm like, oh, yeah, because there was a lot of codes. It was very,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
a lot of essence of things. And so the second time around, it like activates the whole thing.
Wow. I'm still processing, but wow. I mean, I always knew that we were creating utopia and heaven on earth and part of a bigger map. And I think all of us here walked out the womb with that feeling. You just gave us the map to get there. So mind blown. Mind blowing again. I cannot wait to see how we light. I was thinking I was brought on earth to light people up, but damn, we're gonna light everybody on fire from with this. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, and in this day and age, y'all, it was needed. I live like right next to DC, so the energy has been completely different. And I tell you, this this made my whole heart sing. It's like wow, and it's changing the energy in my house already because I can't believe that this came out of you, Sasha. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you, the creator. Thank you, the ancestors. Thank you.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Laura. Wow, I feel your words like honey. Beautiful.
You're like Mother Earth's favorite child right now. You're like Mother Earth's favorite child. He's like the one that gets the best snacks.
Um,
Hi, Sasha. So
Hi there.
I'm at this space where we're really exceptional to be receiving your knowledge and your understanding of the whole, right? But it's time to take it to the level where whatever our expertise is, whatever we felt like what we put, you know, in the comments as to what applies directly to us, to take those specifics about ourselves and then reach in, use these tools that you use to bring all this information to us, but pinpoint what's relevant to our individual contribution to the world. And so a part of me is like, wow, that just seems so complicated to actually do. But it's not true because we're here receiving it. It's not complicated. Stop thinking that it's complicated and do something with it. I want to be able to show that I've integrated what you have taught with something practical that I bring. I don't feel like I'm like there's receiving and there's giving. And I just want to show that I received it and I'm able to give back in a way that applies directly to what you've taught. So those are the things that are in my mind after this. I want to have it be applied, you know? And that's my goal to show that I got it. Okay, that's all I want to say. And thank you.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have something to share on that. Oh, yeah. So, I want to reframe it a little bit. So these are the seeds. These are the seeds. As long as your being is present, and optionally your mind too, but the being more importantly, you're receiving the seeds, and the seeds are growing. Those seeds are not static. As soon as they're planted, they are growing, known as the integration process. And the integration process is the application of certain information in your life. And so that's already happening. It's just a matter of time.
I feel that deeply and I appreciate it. It's already happening. Since we've already received it from you, it's happening already, and let it organically bloom how it will in our lives. I hear you. Thank you.
Hello, you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you continue to amaze me every time. How you were able to simplify the psychology concept. It's just like a mix, like a bath, just one big, big ocean. It's not like all separate things. Each component that I was able to get to like know about myself, I just keep getting mind blown because it's like I thought that the last class or the class before that would have showed me all the components about myself that you helped me like find out when I'm living. Every class, it's like a whole nother level of finding out what I'm living and how my body works and what I need to look out for when I live. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for receiving it. Thank you. Yeah. And for being open to each next class, because yeah, it can be also a little intense. It's a lot of knowledge in a short amount of time. And yeah, so I guess we gotta continue trusting that the seeds get planted and they will grow. They start growing immediately as they get planted. And there is infinite potential. There is so much more. And we're definitely going to the first principles, to the most important stuff that helps everything else blossom and flourish by going into the root causes, into the highest leverage activations. Yeah. Thank you for coming back again and again. Hey.
I missed the music. There's no music here. Can I sing something quickly?
Oh, please.
It's it's actually Aramaic, right? And it's the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, but someone found a translation that instead of the traditional words that it is, I don't have it handy, but the title is more like "O Cosmic Birther," like help us soften the ground in our being. So I'm just gonna chant it. I'm just gonna say it because I want to hear. I just feel I should offer this. Okay. Avunda bishmaya nith kadish shamak. Tete malkutak nekwe sebyanak. Akana de bishmaya af ba'ara'a. Havlan lakman de sunkanan yamana. Washbak lane kawabain waktahain. Akana daf khanan swakana lachayabain. Wela taklan yanesuna. Ela patan min bisha. Metuda lakima kuta. Wahela watesh bukta. Leolam. Amin. Amen. And I'm just going to sing it one time. Avund bishmaya nith kadish shamak. Tete malkutak nekwe sebyanak. Akana de bishmaya af ba'ara'a havlan lak madisun kanan yamana. Washbak lane kawabain waktahain. Akana daf khanan swakana lachayabain. Wela taklan yenesuna. Ela patan min bisha. Metudala kima kuta wahela watesh bukta. Leolam amin amen. I'll share in the chat the translation. I love you guys. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, T, for those beautiful words.
Natasha, those stickers are very awesome. Very cool. Sell those out. Those things bomb. Are you gonna sell them like regular?
I don't know.
Etsy.
I just finished yesterday, and it occurred to me like it was like a very interesting sequence of events. I was building them, and I didn't even know what I was doing and why, and like what it was gonna turn into. And then each next step, I add something, and then I realize it's a sequence, and then I put it in the order of the actual creation, and then like there was a lot of work that went into all the sacred geometry pieces of it, and then yesterday night I was like, wait a second, and I had an idea that I wanted to print them as a sticker for myself on a holographic vinyl paper, and put it on my cap, on my my cap, and put it on my slides, and put it on my whatever. And then yesterday it occurred to me, but actually AI suggested, he's like, go to Etsy, put mandala stickers and see what people have, how much they sell it for, how they like advertise it. And then I went there and I was like, holy moly, there some have 10,000 reviews for like the most artsy one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, wait, what? I'm a sticker artist now?
Stickers are in. Stickers are in.
Beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. I want to buy some. Whenever you get the link, let me get it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Can you
Put that
imagine
all
if they were textured? Like some of
Yes,
them
me
are
too.
rough or some of them are soft. So you can
Yes.
feel them and get the somatic. Oh, yes, bring them in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
put them on
imagine
like your
putting,
computer.
yeah, imagine putting them
Mm.
on like your laptop or your water bottle
Yes, that's the
or a
plan.
print
You go
or
out
a t-shirt print,
Yes.
and they have
and you go out and
names.
drink the water. You go out and drink the water, and then everybody look and say, "How can I buy those too?"
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
I want to share the names real quick for some of them. So the first one of them is called uh, the infinity within a singularity. Uh, it's the second one on top. Uh, then there is the fluctuations of potential in the void. That is not there. Then there is the pulse and the spin. Then there is the Big Bang. That's the first one. Then there is the spiral. The spiral. That's the third one. Then the color, the fourth one. Then the fruit of life, the fifth one. The first one on the bottom. Then the Merkaba and the Platonic solids. That's the second at the bottom. And then there is like, yeah, more. Yeah.
Oh, these names are so good that they'll sell it on its own. When they hear the name, then everybody's gonna buy it. Awesome, awesome. Keep it up.
Yeah. Viri, T, the ladies want to share anything? How did this go for you?
I just want to say thank you. Like, for me, what is it sticks with me is the types of intelligence. It was so amazing. Like Gabriel say, like a lot of it was too meta, but like I really want to rewatch the video, and it was just I feel like I'm still integrating all the information, you know? It's and like what, how do you pronounce your name? Shatikwa?
Yes, that was perfect. You said it
Oh,
perfectly.
perfect.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, like you say, like I really want to integrate these to see how we can just put it in our own world, you know? Like I feel like the tools that you are giving us, like through the level one and level two, is just it's amazing. It's just so much expansion, so much knowledge. Like and I feel like you said, like it's gonna be there. It's a seed, you know, and it's gonna start like growing and growing and growing. So it was amazing. It was amazing. Like every class is like Ophel say, is every class is like boom, mind blowing, and then mind blowing, and then he's like, okay, what is gonna be the next class? Boom, again, you know? So we never end. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sasha, for this. I really appreciate everything that you are teaching us, and the way that you do it, you know, with your passion, with your smile. Like I think that is the key for this. So thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Viri. Such beautiful words. Thank you. I take it all in. Wow, wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And thank you also so much, everybody, and Viri and everybody for inspiring me to do this. Like this is my soul's calling for sure. And teaching is something that is very vital for me to do. If I don't teach, then I start to dry up. And so, but in order to teach, there needs to be an ears of an open ears so that the lips of wisdom speak, otherwise they don't. And so you inspire me to do this. You provide this opportunity for me, and through this opportunity I grow also so much. And I also, you know, hear what comes out and what kind of slides get produced by me, through me, and I'm blown away, because yeah, this is very powerful. I think we're yet to realize how powerful this actually
is, just how powerful this actually is, because it's not me really. It's this knowledge comes from everybody, all of the wisdom keepers that came before us and that are coming after us, that we're receiving from them. Like it's a universal cosmic intelligence that really is providing all of this through the web of life. And so I think we're yet to realize just how powerful this stuff is, even if we already see and see it growing. These seeds are long term. These are long-term seeds that start growing immediately. It's a blessing for all of us, myself included.
I just wanted to say thank you too. I have been very fortunate into having kind of seen, like, been exposed to these ideas and these lessons for now actually quite a long time. And today was like a very significant, almost like step forward into that journey. I mean, you know, I've really been touched by some like true masters, and we've been really passionate about all of this. And almost at the start of my journey, I was like, oh yes, okay, that's something. And now as I walk through, I can very much see, especially in the shadows. I think I very much didn't focus on the shadows at the start of my journey, and the shadows have almost reared back into my life as like a, just a reminder saying, I'm here and I'm relevant and look at me, and, almost alchemizing and taking that into like the medicine and bringing it all together is really life's work. And I see that. And so I trust that, everybody that you touch with this information, as you have my life for so long, that will keep growing and evolving.
Yeah, wow, thank you. Yeah, definitely. I know that you've touched upon this information so many times before from so many different people at profound levels as well, and so have I. And it doesn't cease to amaze me how these systems are so profound that they just keep unfolding within one, and the next layer of depth and usefulness opens up, and of embodiment opens up, and there is more and more and more each time. And for me as well, like what I shared today is the I didn't take it from anywhere. I just listened to the inner understanding of this system of the Enneagram and multiple intelligences that has grown over time, and I just allowed the wisdom to flow through, and the whole next layer opened up that I myself wasn't yet aware of. So like we're truly in this together. Yeah.
How is Karime? Is Karime well? I miss her.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
she's very well. She couldn't join because she had other calls, but I think I'll recommend her to listen to this. I think she'll also really enjoy this a lot. She's doing great. Yeah, we went to Colombia together for 3 weeks. That was quite a journey, almost like a before and after in life. And yeah, so we're very much inspired
That's awesome.
and inspired and full of joy and trust in the unfolding of life. And yeah, beautiful things happened in Colombia, so I'm also excited to share it, pay it forward and share it, including today and on Saturday. If you can come live on Saturday, we'll do an activation. We'll take everything that we've learned in the most distilled way, and just kind of like flash it in front of ourselves, and then go deep within to water those seeds. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, dears. Thank you so much for coming over on a weekday. It was just 1:11 seconds ago. So finalizing this. Thank you so much for this container. So much love. This was
And when
great,
you start,
great
it
fun.
was 11:11.
Really?
Yeah, when you start
Wow.
tugging, it was 11:11.
Okay. I guess we're being aligned here. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Bye now.
You too. Bye.
Bye.